I tried to defend Calvin Ridley, you were very much, hey, he did something wrong. If I may take a moment, may I go through the series of events and then we'll see if that changes your opinion or if your opinion is the same?
I'm all ears, Tone.
All right, here we go. So the end of NFL suspended, we all know. Calvin Ridley of the Falcons, the wide receiver of the Falcons, for the entire 2022 season. If I may, I have to look something up. I do apologize because I want to make sure that I'm accurate on this. If I may. So he has lost so he loses the whole season. I believe it's like $11 million. $11 million. Let me just go through a list of some suspensions. Ray Rice beating his fiance, 2 games. Adrian Peterson, felony child abuse, 6 games. Greg Hardy beating his girlfriend, 10 games, reduced to 4. Ezekiel Elliott hitting a woman, 6 games. Josh Gordon. Oh, okay, that's 6 seasons for smoking weed, but that's a repeat offender. Calvin Ridley, 17 games for using FanDuel. I know that's a joke, but for gambling, I know it's illegal. So I'm putting that out there to be like, is the penalty, does it fit the crime?
Right.
All right, so here's a series of events. So in November, Ridley placed 3 bets: a 3-team, a 5-team, and an 8-team parlay. He placed the bets via a mobile app in Florida, where online sports gambling is legal or was legal at the time. The bets, I talked to a betting aficionado. I have a couple on speed dial.
He knows them.
Said those are pretty bad bets. The likelihood of winning a 3, 5, and 8-team parlay is like a scratch ticket. Like the odds aren't very good, especially on the 8-team parlay. So it was a bad bet to begin with, but still he made a bet. His bet, he did bet on the Falcons to win in each one of those 3, 5, and 8-team parlays. The bets totaled $1,500. So I'm assuming 5, 5, and 5, but I don't know that for a fact. The league determined he used no insider information for these bets, and no one with the team was aware of these bets. The league has confirmed this. It's still, listen, I get it. Betting is a no-no. They were bad bets to begin with. Sports betting is being legalized all over North America right now. In fact, I'm pretty sure the NFL is like brought to you by DraftKings or FanDuel. That right? Like it's something that's going to be now. I get what you're going to say, which is, listen, you can't do it. But there's okay. Let me stop. Let me not make my case. There's a series of events. There's the punishment for that crime. Now tell me your thoughts. Have they changed at all?
No. And the reason why they haven't changed is, number one, we've actually had a history of this, not from Calvin Ridley, but from the league. I don't know if you know this, Tone, but the Hall of Famer, I believe his name is Paul Horing, from the Green Bay Packers, he was suspended for the 1963 season for gambling. The entire season, he was suspended.
Was gambling legal then?
No. He was suspended for the entire season, I believe.
So he did something that was illegal that he would have gone to jail for outside of playing.
It was gambling. I'm 100% confident. I'm 100% confident that in the CBA agreement, gambling is involved in that, and that is a no-no. I am sure of that. I don't know what the 416-page policy looks like, but I am 100% confident that gambling is a part of that you cannot do. However, all right, when you talk about Adrian Peterson, when you talk about Ray Rice, when you talk about the guys that you talked about, none of those guys, what they did possibly could determine the outcome of a football game. None of them. Ray Rice, what he did, that was after the season was over. Ezekiel Elliott, that was after the season was over. We haven't even started the season. So none of these things possibly do that. When you're talking about gambling, we're talking about the integrity of the game. I cannot sell a product. I cannot endorse a product and sell it if I can't guarantee its authenticity. So if I got people out here betting on games, right? If I got people out here betting on games, what I'm doing is I'm compromising the integrity of not just that person, but the game. Because now what I'm doing is I'm opening up Pandora's box. Well, who else is doing this? Not only who else is doing this, who else is involved in this? How deep does it go? Are they only betting on games that they play in? Are they betting on games with other teams? Are they in partnership with other players and things of that nature? Well, I can't have that because that's going to destroy the integrity of the game. Ridley doesn't think this is a big deal. Well, Roger Goodell does. And since you don't think this is a big deal, we're going to shut the door on this to make sure you know how big a deal this is. I personally think that this is grounds for expulsion, because I said this to you before, Tone. I cannot work at the bank and just take $50 and go, it was only $50, I'll put it back. Now I can appreciate your logic. Well, it wasn't illegal. Actually, it's the integrity of the sport. Because if I can't trust you, Tone, then we can't run this thing. If I can't trust you, then we can't do it.
I understand. I don't disagree. I think when I compare it to the things that those others did, my moral compass says those were worse. My moral compass says those were worse. Beating on women, beating your wives, doing those things are worse. And
that's all I can get. Yeah.
So my moral compass says, like, how does one guy get 17 games for $1,500 of gambling? I get the integrity of the game. I understand what you're saying. So I'll leave it up to everyone who's listening to give us their comments. Let us know, what do you think about Calvin Ridley? Was the penalty too harsh? Was it too soft? Should he be out forever? Because Pete Rose bet on his own team. Granted, he did a lot more. He's out of baseball forever. They're keeping one of the best players ever out of the Hall of Fame. So was it too harsh? Speaking of putting it in the comments, you can hear us on a lot more places. May I run down the list?
I'm all ears, Tone. Where we at?
For those of you that like listening to podcasts, I always say, I get it. You might just not want to stare at us staring at each other for an hour. So check it out. We are now available on Apple Podcast, Castbox, Google Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, Stitcher, and Amazon Music. I don't know that there's anywhere else that plays podcasts. If you can think of one, let me know, because I think we're on every single one. So that's available right now. Every back episode and moving forward is now available on all of those platforms. Obviously, just look up Fluent and Chill.